What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stirfry. It's your boy, Chef T.
I'm Will the Spacekid.
And our special guest today is Jacob Maher.
What's going on?
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Yo.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great, man. I can't complain. Life is good.
Yeah.
You know, life is good. We got a few more months of summer left. Got to use them up to our fullest.
It's a few more weeks for me.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to school. I'm still in high school, so.
Yeah, you're a 17-year-old
17-year-old
photographer.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Amazing, dude. Amazing. Not many
Appreciate
people
that.
can say they are doing something they love. This early on.
Well, I mean, I found my own little niche with my photo type of thing pretty early, probably 14 or 15 is when I started doing this stuff. 15, 16 is when I started doing the real music industry type of stuff. But yeah, it's been crazy for the past 2 years of high school. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's hear about the origin story. I know you just mentioned the age you were in, but what got you started? What got you to pick up a camera and say, I wanna do this?
Well, I always liked being creative and taking photos, so I would use my iPod or my dad's phone when we go on vacation to Arizona or wherever we go, because there'd be cool mountains and things. I'd always want to take cool photos.
Right.
So it kind of started there. And then my grandpa was a photographer, a wedding photographer way back with all the film, it's the 70s, 80s type of time. And my mom started talking to me about that, and she was like, oh, you should probably talk to your grandpa about getting a camera because you seem to like taking photos. So I think 2016, I was in 8th grade, maybe that Christmas. Got some money. My grandparents helped me buy. Well, me, my dad, and my grandpa went to the camera store, bought a little Nikon entry-level DSLR camera. That was my first real camera. Kit lens, everything, kind of used $200 little thing to start out with, and that's kind of how it started. I used that camera probably till 2018, and then I was well, probably you need to start upgrading my equipment. So I did research, got more equipment, different cameras, started testing out flashes, different lenses, all that stuff, because my knowledge was growing. And
expanding it.
That's how it started. $200, iPod, then $200 little entry-level camera, and I took that with me for a year or two, and, whether it be the Grog Shop or Agora or anywhere, that little thing got me into a lot of places. And that's how it started.
Yes. So what are you working with now?
One of my main cameras, people ask me that a lot, but it's a Nikon D300 with a battery grip, and I usually use the 50mm 1.8, so
Love
pretty cheap.
50mm.
Yeah, 50mm 1.8 for the portraits. I am a high school student, no money. So
Right.
Okay.
Minimal investment into this, but I'm trying to get a lot out of it. And people in my DMs and stuff are always oh, your camera must be insane. How much have you spent on it? I spent $300 total, because you can get great photos for cheap. People think oh, if I get a $5,000 setup, I'm gonna be the best photographer. That's not true.
No.
Because I've managed to get through. I'm not the best. I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying I've managed to get through multiple concert situations, commercial shoots with a $300 camera. But it's a D300 from 07 actually, so it's almost as old as I am, and that it still produces great quality images in 2020, so I don't see a reason to get rid of it yet.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because so many people just constantly think, "Oh, I have to have that red camera for because I do videos. I have to do that red camera. I have to have the RE." But it's you're not understanding the whole point. It's a lot of filmmakers, if you're if you have the content, then you can make anything good. Mm-hmm. If you understand how to maybe make a story out of my video, that's more important than having the best style. There's ways to get good visual stuff out of a camera that's cheaper. Because if you don't even know how to use that expensive camera, then
it's worthless to you.
Worthless.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. People think that I must have the only reason your photos look good is because you have all this equipment, all this crap. But half shoots I use the onboard flash, half the shoots I use a kit lens, and then people are so surprised and they're like, "How do you do this?" It's well, I've just learned how to like use what I have. My resources I'm like able and capable of affording.
Yeah.
I figure out how to maximize like my potential with that instead of trying to like hold myself down and like kind of restrict myself just because I can't afford the newest, the latest like lenses and stuff.
Yeah, I can't go out and shoot because I don't have that camera that so and so has.
Exactly.
Do you think that Instagram and YouTube have been like a major effect to that? Because I think now people see all these influencers
and like people that are like big and like famous with all these like,
and they have this fucking crazy rig and they're telling everyone this is how you get good pics, this is what you do, and then everyone feels the need to want that and to need that.
I think that's like one of the main things is basically like influencers. When I was trying to learn about my craft and like kind of figure out like different information on cameras and things, kind of learn more things on YouTube, a lot of the YouTube channel people would have $1,000 cameras, $2,000 lenses, like tripods, gimbals, all this crap, the $100 bags, like put their stuff in, and I was like, oh, like I need this so I can be good like them. That's what I originally thought, and then I figured out, that's kind of bullshit. But
bro, I went through a phase of just throwing my camera in my like book bag. I didn't even have like a camera bag for a minute.
Oh, you didn't? You just threw it in?
No, I didn't just throw it. But I'd put it in there like wrapped in like a hoodie. Just because I just didn't... I could have probably bought one, but I wanted the best one if I was going to buy one, I thought. But that's what I was doing. I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to wrap this, keep it safe in some hoodie.
So what do you feel like kind of kept you like motivated in the beginning, as far as, you will see all these people with these big cameras, big lights and everything, but yet you said, I'm going to go through with this, I'm going to still do it. What kind of gave you that feeling or, inspiration?
Well, I got positive feedback, and people on Instagram, even when I had like 200, 300, 400, 500 followers, like I would be shooting with that $200, $100 camera, whatever it was, and people would, the way I would edit and things, editing is also a big part, especially with digital. Okay. And I mean, people on Instagram that would just see my page, they wouldn't know what I'm shooting with. They'd just see the image. They'd see the after. They'd see the, like the product. They wouldn't see what goes into that. So I was getting positive. They're like, oh, your shots are fire. Like, how did you do this? Like, let's book a shoot. Let's do this. And I was like, oh, like, even though I feel that I need the most expensive stuff so I can keep up with these other people are coming to me and telling me that my stuff looks great. And I know that I'm using a cheap camera. So really, at that point, when I realized that the average person's not going to know the difference between $1,000 camera versus a $100 camera. I was kind of just like, well, I can go use my cheap equipment and get great results, and people will still enjoy my stuff.
So in the beginning, was it more so like just friends, people in the neighborhood, or just all type of just people on Instagram that you never met in person?
You mean as far as like audience, or like how did I get in?
Yeah, like the audience, or like who was giving you the props, saying it, good job.
To keep you going. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you get feedback.
Definitely not my parents. My parents did not like it because my area that I grew up, I live out in like Chagrin. So like that's very like, it's like, you know what I mean? Suburban, like white neighborhood. So it's very like kind of gated community type of thing. And so when I first was going down to these like concerts or like in inner city areas and things like that, I wouldn't tell them I was going. Yeah. I would just be like, oh, I'm going to shoot photos with like my friends. They wouldn't know that I'd be at like a skate shop in like East Cleveland or something, with all these rappers and things like that. But eventually they kind of figured that out, and I just.
So what do they say now?
They're cool with it because I make money off of it now. Like it's been a normal thing. So like
that's awesome.
They're like, oh, like you have a concert to shoot this weekend. So it's kind of been normalized with them now that they're cool with it. Like they're cool now because I've been doing it for the past like 3 or 4 years, which is great. But
yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, they're still a little protective about like that because of the type of they didn't have this type of like childhood. Like they're very like go to school, like get good grades, like then you go to college, get a normal job in an office type of thing. Like so, which I respect that if they want to do that, but for me, that is not what I want to do. I really want to be like an entrepreneur and things like that. But they've seemed to kind of accept it, like they're okay with it now. Because I think they trust me enough. Like I'm responsible enough and old enough now that I'm not gonna like get myself killed or anything like that or something like that. You know?
Yeah. You can you have self-awareness of like what's going on, and I also think they probably see, okay, you're 17.
Yep.
And you're already starting to be an entrepreneur. You're already profiting off of what you're doing, and you're improving. And I feel like as a parent, if you can see that, then you have to accept. Like, if you were just taking photos and you haven't made zero money, and you were just like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna go to school. Fuck it," they would probably have a problem with that. But seeing as you're consistent and you're making money off it, you're growing. They see that they probably.
Yeah, I mean, they still, like, my mom kept bugging me this whole summer, like, well, with the coronavirus and stuff, it's kind of fucked up my job, but, basically, like, she's, like, telling me, you should get a job, like, even though your other job is closed right now, like, you should try to get another job, but I've been trying to tell her, like, I've been booking these shoots and making as much, if not more money off of taking photos for people, so it's kind of like a job, like, I'm making enough money to live on, like, not live on, but... You know what I mean? Like, go out with my friends, like, pay for food, invest, save. Like, I'm making, honestly, I would say more money by doing photos than just sitting in, like, I was working at Joseph A. Bank, like, the suit store. Yeah. And I would sit there, and sure, it was, like, easy money, but it was boring to me, and I was probably making less money than I am now. Because this summer is really when, like, I really got booked a lot. Like, every week, like, 2, 3, 4 people every week just knocking out shoots, so... but that's been insane.
Well, yeah, especially if you're in school and you're working part-time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is you can make way more money than that. Like,
because I mean, it's less consistent, but it's more profit in a less amount of time. Like, exactly, if you shoot for 2 hours, you're gonna make as much as you would working like probably a week at a job. So it's less consistent, but it's worth it. If you have a good clientele base, yeah. And I mean, that's the most important thing, is like keeping that clientele base.
Who was kind of your inspiration style-wise?
Yeah. Well, the whole rap photography, like, I was doing photography just as like a little hobby, like a lot of my friends do it too, just taking photos like with like families, or like when we hang out as friends, or like going on vacation, like flowers, like going to parks, taking photos. But the real rap thing came when I was a teenager. I liked rap music. Every teenager likes rap music, especially now. And I like taking photos, so I kind of just looked up like photography documentaries on YouTube or something like that, and I found like Ray's Corrupted Mind, and like people that were shooting for like Travis, or like people like personal photographers of like these rappers. I was like, oh, I want to do that. Like, imagine if I was like a famous rapper's photographer, because like that was insane to me. Like oh, I can meet these people, and it was kind of just like a I wish type of thing. Right. And then I eventually kind of like figured out how to combine the two, and that's how that came together. But I forget what your question was.
Just who inspired you, like, style wise?
The style. It's like Ray's Corrupted Mind.
Gunnar Stahl.
Gunnar.
I love Gunnar.
Everybody.
He's great.
He does more of the film, but still, he's insane. Honestly, I was watching a lot of. It's not the rap photography, but I was watching a lot of documentaries on like street photographers in like the 50s and 60s. Like New York Times, like Magnum, like all those photographers, like the black and white, like New York street photography.
So you did your research?
Yeah, like I love that too. Like I was obsessed with like just learning about that.
Did you watch the LA? What was the one on Netflix? It was the LA one about Cartoon, which is a tattoo guy, and his friend that did all the pictures in like LA.
Oh, no, I haven't watched that.
Oh, it's a good one. You should check that out. Yeah, it's like a really good documentary.
But I became fascinated with like these street photographers, because they basically on their Instagram they will drop like photos from their archive in like the 50s and 60s, because there's this one guy, I think his name's like Joel or something, and he was one of the first people to do like color street photography back in like the 50s and 60s, and to the day he still has photos from his archive that he releases, and it's really cool to just see like life basically back then, and it's all in color, so it looks almost so real, but it's almost I don't even math, like 50 years, 60 years ago. And it just looks like now. Like, his photos look like modern day photos, but it's like in the 50s with all these old cars and all these like the
which
clothing.
Is crazy.
It's crazy. It's like a time capsule. But he was one of my inspirations. And yeah, it's like a mix of just every photographer, like type of photographer ever.
Yeah.
So it's like street photography, rap photography, concert photographers, and things like that. And then I met a few like local people that also influenced me.
That's awesome. I mean, that's great that you could. That's great that you went back. You know, you were taking pictures, and you went back, and you were like, okay, I want to watch these documentaries. I want to see kind of how I could even improve, or what styles I could bring into my own style and make it like unique. Especially now when everyone's taking photos. You know, everyone's got an Instagram.
Yeah,
everyone. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's got a fucking 4K camera in their pocket. So it's very saturated market right now.
Yep, it is. It's very saturated.
Yeah.
Very.
But like being able to go back and watch stuff and take things that people might not think about, like the actual art behind photography or the actual, you know, stylistic compositions that go into photography people don't really think about. You know what I'm saying? That makes you a better overall photographer for sure.
I'm just thinking, you know, so you're younger than a lot of, you know, people that take photos. So when you go into these different rooms or different settings, do you feel like people are giving you respect or kind of trying to lead their own photo shoot? Like, say if you tell somebody, like, I want you to at this angle, and maybe they just feel like, I don't know, like they booked you because they saw something good.
But then they realize I'm like 16, 17.
Yeah, you feel like people kind of treat you a little different?
Not really, because
okay.
I feel like the work speaks for itself. Because, I mean, you could be like 45 and have not so great looking stuff, and they might not take you seriously because they're like, oh, well, he doesn't know what he's doing. But
gotcha.
So far, no.
Okay.
I even like in venues, relationships, and talking to like, honestly, the age thing helped. It makes me stand out. It makes people support me more, type of thing. Actually, I'm thankful that I did it when I was like started when I was like 14 or 15, because when I would walk into a venue and these rappers would see me, like they would fuck with me more because I'm young.
Yeah.
Because one, I look different. I'm literally the only Asian kid like there, like anywhere, doing like the photos and stuff.
Okay.
And I'm one of the only young kids.
Yeah.
Because maybe I look 18, 19, but people know I'm young. Like, I don't look like I'm 30.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And there's like 15 other dudes that are like 30, 25 doing the same thing as me at that concert, shooting photos. And who's going to stand out? Like the younger, like, dude, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's a blessing for me. And as far as the respect thing, again, I just try to do the best that I can do when I take photos, and so I don't think people really judge me based on my age as long as I can put out work that looks good.
That's great, because I know you do videos. I know you remember going to school and those older like film teachers. This how you got to do it, and
well, you know what does make me think of the people that like take terrible pictures that are like 45 years old and they have like the big like lens.
Like the 300 millimeter lenses, like these big ass things,
and they're just like terrible photography. Yeah, but
and then you like, oh, he's about to be like, that's gonna be like an insane photo, and it's just complete trash.
Yeah,
I know, dude.
Dude, that's what goes back to our like cheap. I mean, more expensive is not always better. Like, and then they get booked a bunch, like especially for weddings. I see all the time. Like, dude, I could have took that picture way better.
It's because I feel like a lot of, I don't blame them, but it's like a lot of just average people that want to book a photographer for their wedding. They don't know how to do any of that, and they basically just see this guy on like Google. They're like, they look up like wedding photographers around me, and it's like,
dude's got a big ass camera.
So and so photography. And then they look at his page and just see like he has a big ass camera. They're like, oh, he has to be good. Like, we're booking him, right? But they would book like a 45-year-old dude with a big ass camera. The shit versus like a 17-year-old kid that can actually be good if he has like some little small ass thing.
Yeah,
like, you know.
Facts.
I don't blame him though, but yeah.
It is crazy like that. Like normal just average people, they really don't understand the concept that like cameras are so advanced now that little camera probably takes good ass pictures compared to that big ass, that tube ass fucking lens that's ridiculous and not needed, you know. And like yours are probably gonna turn out better because you actually understand.
Which is why I think Instagram is such a great platform to like change that. Because before you, I think people literally, that's all they pretty much had was just like, I go to Google, I type in photographers, he got a bigger camera, he probably the good person. Instagram, I can compare all y'all work and be like, oh yeah, I know who to book. I'm booking a 17-year-old. Like,
yeah, I mean, Instagram is definitely...
It's not, yeah, it's something.
Instagram is one of the best inventions ever, I'd say. Because, I mean, as far as Instagram, I'd say I owe probably like 50% of just what I've been able to do in these past few years to social media in general. I mean, without that, I wouldn't be able to contact anybody, share my work to like thousands of people. It's without that, you know, exposure levels and stuff are just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's basically like your portfolio.
It's
that's
my
what
portfolio.
it is.
I mean, I have a website, but when people ask me, they're like, oh, like, where can I check your work, like, to book you and stuff? I'm like, check my Instagram. That's the first thing I tell them. And I link it in the email. I'm like, check my Instagram. My website's in my bio, but people check my Instagram. Instagram is your portfolio for any creative. Like, you shoot videos, you put your videos that you shot on your Instagram. Absolutely. People are going to check your Instagram. That's going to get more traffic, I'd assume, than your website. People are going to view that first. And that's how all my bookings basically are. They're through Instagram. It's Instagram. Yeah. A few people, you know, through people that know somebody that shot with me, or like a few people through like maybe my website, but it's always DM or text or something like that just off of my portfolio. Yeah, Instagram is literally it's one of the greatest tools that we as creatives have, like in like 2020. In this like day and age, that's like one of the most important things.
Facts.
Any business, even like his business, like credit card, you know, like
even
credit
that.
help and everything, like building any like podcasts, stuff like that. I mean, Instagram, without Instagram, nobody.
Yeah, how do you have to basically just create such a beautiful website that people want to go to it?
Yeah.
And like want to join it, you know? You'd almost have to create your own kind of social media to keep people going there, you know?
Yeah.
Or if you create, you'd have to make it just so aesthetically pleasing. People want to book you for photos, and Instagram just does it all, you know?
Instagram, I love Instagram.
Me too, man. Honestly, that's where I got all my clients.
All right, yeah.
You know?
It's where you share everything.
Literally.
It's where you book people. It's where you share what you made.
Yeah.
It's how you talk to people from thousands of miles away.
I think that might be my favorite social media for sure.
Instagram?
Yeah, for sure.
I like Instagram over Snapchat, but Snapchat is, well, from my age group, I mean, Snapchat's pretty big as well.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Twitter, I don't use Twitter. Everybody uses Twitter. I don't use Twitter.
Yeah, I definitely use Twitter, but I can't get into Snapchat anymore.
You can't get into Snapchat? It's more of a high school thing. I mean, I'm still in high school, so talk to
right, yeah,
friends, group chats, girls, stuff like that.
Yeah. Back when I was in high school, Snapchat was dope.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of died. I just post like pictures of me partying. That's about it.
Like to show that you're, on your story, don't use Facebook at all, other than to like search a marketplace.
I understand. Like,
dude.
I want to use Facebook more just to market stuff, but it's hard to sign in. It's hard to get in. It's like to stay active.
The way I think my problem is the way things are positioned within it. It's just like makes me like angry. Like I'll post something, but it'll like, I don't know. It's just all jumbled with different dates and different random things.
Yeah, I don't even know. I can't even begin to tell you how to use Facebook.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's just.
I don't use. Yeah, only things I use are Snapchat, Instagram. That's it.
Yeah, Snapchat, I mean that's all you need. That's all you need, man.
Right now.
I would say look into Twitter though. Like Twitter.
I tried to use. I have a Twitter account and I followed like people that I know, but I don't understand how to even like. I just don't get it. Like. People tweet, and I see like on Instagram, like, oh, the babies like tweet or something, like they'll post that, but I just don't understand what's is it just like to share a message? I'm sounding so dumb.
Well, it'd be good to take so I know how you take pictures of like different rappers that come in town. It would be really, really good to post the picture underneath like a tweet of them, because they might retweet it, or especially bigger artists, because they might actually see that. Like Instagram, they might not see that. But Twitter, it's more luck that they'll actually see it. Like, it's more interactive, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't even know you could do any.
So Twitter, honestly, is more so the place you go to argue. And I mean, I get it. Like it sounds crazy, but literally, it's like, I support this, therefore I'm here, and this is what I'm with. So, like, your favorite sports team is playing that night or whatever. You go on there, you talk about your favorite sports team. Somebody don't like your sports team, and then y'all move forward like in the conversations.
Oh, so you post a tweet saying something like controversial or something, for example, and then there's people that see it and they comment under it and they're like,
yes, and then y'all just debate, and then if it's a thing, sometimes it's a thing that there's no proof of winning, but if it's a thing with if it's winning, then you do got to take the consequences of like, well, obviously you were wrong, and you got hundreds of random people explaining that you were wrong.
Yeah. But where I see you would benefit from it, from actually actively using it, is when it's easier to spread your message. Like, so if you take a bunch of dope ass photos, and I see photographers all the time, they'll take dope ass photos and get a bunch of retweets and favorites, and that'll spread to more people.
Like basically like it
and more people and
more
people.
Exposure, and like so like I can use Twitter to grow my Instagram, like grow my audience.
Yeah. So if you have a bunch of pictures of Jack Harlow, you post 2 pictures of Jack Harlow, and you get a bunch of likes and retweets, he's gonna probably see it, and he might retweet it. Like, people retweet. Or like
go visit the page and be like, like, and then we link up. You know what I mean?
I mean, things like that actually happen on Twitter. Like, Instagram, it's weird because it's more like you post
the only way you get there, tagging and things like that.
But how often does that really work? Because
very
tweeting
rarely,
when you tweet like a photo, especially people like to click on the photos, and if it's a dope ass photo, people like it and retweet it, and the more retweets and likes you get, the more it just compounds and compounds and compounds. Your more timelines you're on. I don't know. I would definitely start using it. Yeah. Because I can see a huge benefit to like getting rappers to see your stuff, like stuff that like, because obviously big rappers, you know, you might be able to talk to them, might not be able to talk to them, but who knows?
Do you have to grow your following on like Twitter before you post on like, because you know on Instagram like you probably want to get like a few hundred followers at least, then post a photo, like, or is it more like
it's different because what you're providing specifically is
like who's gonna see? Let's say I have like 3 followers on Twitter. I just start my Twitter page. I post something.
So that's
who's gonna see?
That's a huge difference.
If one person retweets it, then all their followers are seeing it, right? And let's say one other person retweets it, so that's
it's like exponential
600
growth. Basically.
Yeah, basically that's what I was trying. It's compounding and it's exponentially growing.
So it's like story sharing on Instagram. So like then their followers will see it.
Yes,
it's like basically. That, but like easier. Like,
it's way easier because it takes one click, boom, someone retweets it, and then their followers see it, and that's why I'm saying it's easier for
like bigger artists and things to see it because they'll be like getting like 100,000 retweets of this one photo, and they're like, oh, let me check this out because like I'm getting tagged and all.
Yeah, I'm getting constantly notified when someone's retweeting it or something. Yeah. That's so. I mean, I think you should definitely.
I never knew that. Yeah,
it would benefit
I'll look
you
into that,
big. Yeah, benefit you big. So, going back a little bit, how did you get into the concert scene? Were you booked at first, or did you start going to concerts randomly, just taking pictures of people?
First concert.
Okay.
Well, okay. So how I originally got into that was I looked up a list of like once I really was like, okay, I want to shoot photos of rappers since I like taking photos and I like rap music. So I looked up local artists because I was like, oh, like there's no way I can shoot for like MGK or somebody like that. Like I'm some kid that doesn't even have any connections. So first step, looked up a list. I was like, best photographer from Cleveland. And it showed me like local ones. Like obviously it showed me like Kid Cudi, like Machine Gun Kelly, Bone Thugs, and like the big ones that everybody knows from here.
Yeah.
And then it showed me like some underground or like kind of medium-sized Cleveland artists like that are local, like Freshie, Low Life Lane, Sean K.
I know them guys.
Everybody. I mean, if you're in the city, you definitely. If you're in the music scene in Cleveland, you definitely know
them. For sure.
Billiard. I mean, like like Pooh Gut, like all these OGs.
Yeah.
I didn't know who they were at first, but I started looking into them. Contacted Freshie, and he hit me back, and I was like, okay, well that's cool. Like some artist hitting me back. He had a show at West Side Skates one night, and he came, and I came with a few other people, and that was my first time like linking with somebody and said like we DM'd. I was like, yo, let me pull up and shoot some photos. I'm a beginner photographer.
Did you say for free, right?
Yeah, I was like, for free, like let me just pull up. Will you get me in? Like we can like like chop it up, like take some photos. I'm just beginning. He said sure. So we pull up there, and I meet him in real life, and that was like the first time that I ever really like went to a kind of music kind of event in the city. And then after that, I got his number. Like we got, we're cool now. So and then I start making more connections. I start shooting some other local people. Like so his bro Low Life Lane, is another rapper, and I feel like I think it was like a month or two later. Low Life Lane, Freshie connected me with Low Life Lane because they're friends, and I started talking to him. We're cool now because we're shooting photos, whatever. He opens up for Shoreline Mafia at the Grog Shop, so that was my first. Like I went there for Low Life Lane, but Shoreline was there too. That was my first time really shooting some photos of like a bigger that was really cool. Because a few months prior, I actually found Shoreline's music like for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, this is sick!" Like one day, hopefully, I get to shoot photos, and then it's like a month too later, it ends up happening, and that's kind of how I got into it. After that, after I met like Shoreline and like started going to this Grog Shop, and like getting backstage and like shooting photos, and I thought it was fun. I was hooked. That was like the first time that I really was like, okay, so since I got to meet Shoreline now, then let's try to see if I can get in contact with these other people like Machine Gun Kelly and stuff that I want to work with.
Yeah.
And then after that, November comes around. This was all happening like mid to end 2018. So I was still pretty. I think I was like 15.
Oh wow! So you're like a sophomore.
Yeah, I was
right?
a sophomore.
Yeah.
That was like mid to end 2018, and then after that Grog Shop show, a few other like small shows. Because now I was a beginner at it, but I was kind of getting used to like, okay, like there's events going on this weekend. Like I'm going to bring my camera, shoot some photos here. I met like some medium-sized artists like Chapo and stuff from the city, being around people in the city. Like eventually I just met like Chapo, DJ Top Gun, like M Stacks, like these other producers and like creatives around here. And then November comes around and me and him again. I mean,
Chapo's popping.
Yeah, Chapo he's out in LA now, big and everything. But
they're cool in the video.
Yeah, November comes around. Young Pinch and Tyler Yahweh coming on tour on the Lost at Sea Tour 2018. And I had no pass to that. I had no idea how I would get in, but I kind of just showed up to the Agora. Like that was my first time going to a real venue. Because the Grog Shop is like a little
kind of a bar-ish
party venue type of thing, small stage. Agora was the first. This was the first like real like stage big show.
Definitely.
And so I was a little nervous, but I kind of finessed my way in because we show up at the front, and usually to shoot concerts you need like a pass, obviously, because you got all this equipment and stuff. But we kind of just were like, oh, we're supposed to be here, like we're shooting the concert, and then they let us in. So I was like, oh shit, like we're going in. So we walked in, and after the show they were really cool. I mean, they're medium at the time. Young Pinch was like a medium-sized artist, and Tyler Yahweh was a smaller-sized artist. So I guess clearance was a little bit lower than what they are now.
Dude, so that's like the key secret ticket into anything is anybody who just brings a fucking DSLR camera,
like to look like
you can literally get into places for free.
Yeah, because people
your way
assume
to the back.
that you're like a part of like a media team or like a media company or like with the news or something, and they're like, okay, like you can come up and make a photo bit, and
you can even make your own. I heard
like a fake pass. And stuff. I've tried that before, but.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Scared to actually pull through with it. But yeah, so I just kind of finessed my way into that show. And then after the show, it was really cool. They came down, talked to us. We talked to him. Because that was right when Tyler signed Post Malone. That was like recently. So he was like still pretty small. I didn't even know who he was until then. And then Pinch was, people might know him, might not know him. But
because he's more of a West Coast.
Yeah, like Cali, like Beach Boy, like type of thing. But they were cool. We talked to them for a little bit. Tyler was really cool. And then I was like, well, that's weird. Like you can take a camera in a venue and then after you get to talk to these people, like not as a fan, like as like a
fellow creative.
Like a fellow creative. Like they were like, oh, let's shoot some photos. Like let me get your Instagram. Let's do this type of thing. And that was amazing. Because I was like, okay, so now I can use this camera thing and start meeting people and actually like get a personal relationship with these people. And then after that just boosted it even more. Like my like me wanting to like do this like even more often. That was like another just like I need to do this like type of thing. Because like I was doing small shows, then it's a bigger like venue. That
keep
works
growing.
Keep growing, and I was hooked. Like I was literally addicted to this. All I talk about is photos. Like when concerts were gonna be booked, like I would look up like concerts coming in Cleveland, and I would see all of them, contact every single one of them that I was interested in, and things like that. And all these artists that I would listen to, like Young Dolph, like all these people, they come into Cleveland at like the House of Blues and stuff. So then obviously I want to shoot. And that was like a pattern. Look up who's coming to town, contact them, see if I can shoot with them. Contact people that are on the tour, see if I can shoot with them. And at the same time, do little shows with local people, build my connections with that, find other people that do the same thing.
Yep.
And it just became a normal thing, like photos every weekend.
Yeah. So are you connecting at this time at like Garage Shop Nagora? Are you connecting with the people that run it too?
I don't really do garage shop that much. Well, obviously like coronavirus and stuff, but with.
Because how are you getting back? How are you like getting backstage?
A lot of times it's originally it was you would contact their management or finesse your way or contact like an opener on the tour that's a little bit smaller. So let's say like, for example, like Post Malone's coming to town at like the Wolstein. You contact Post Malone, nobody's gonna respond.
Right. Yeah.
But let's say like, just for an example, like Young Pinch is opening up for him. Maybe you contact Young Pinch, say, let me shoot some photos. You get a pass for him. You're into the show. Yeah. Okay. But at this point in time,
you're just finessing. It's like the finesse game.
Well, at that point in time, it was the finesse game or the mass contacting everybody game. Now it's kind of like I finally met people in the city that are local artists or like kind of popping like around here that know people type of thing. Yeah. Or that open up for people or things like that. And I'm also starting to meet like head of media at Wolstein type of people or like owner of this studio or like investment people that are promoting like a big concert. So I'm starting to like really network with the people that are like the driving like the head of like these events going on. So I can contact instead of trying to contact this
you can automatically get in there.
You get in with like let's say like the Agora's having a show, but I know the promoter guy. You contact the promoter guy and he'll get you in. Because he's more likely to respond than like some artist.
Well, it helps him out too if you're coming and shooting shows and it's helping him have content to show what he made, what show he made, you know, what show he put on.
Yeah, because a lot of the time it's like kind of a benefit. Like I help you, you help me. Like you get me into the show, I give you free photos. I help you market this and you know
because everybody needs
photos, videos, and capturing that type of moment that they're like having so they can market it, and that's kind of how that went for a little while. But now it's starting to be more just like for example like with Pooh Gutta, he's an OG here, and I know his manager Tommy Sanito, or something. I think that's his last name, but he is his manager, and they just got me into the Christmas show this year with Pooh Gutta, and because Pooh Gutta and MGK like homies, like you know what I mean?
It's Cleveland.
So I get in with Pooh Gutta, I'm into the show. You know what I mean?
And you can go on the stage.
So I'm starting to meet people around the city, like these OGs and stuff that know these people and stuff. So I'm starting to build relationship with all of them.
I love that, dude.
So now it's not finesse. It's more like I'm supposed to be here type of thing, or like I know these people now, so like I'm cool with them now, so that's why I'm here. Yeah. Not like, you know.
I respect you so much just for the fact that you had an idea of what you wanted to do, and you're like, I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna get in this show no matter what. No matter what it takes, I'll contact every motherfucker on that opening list.
That's exactly what I did. My friends. Well, I used to get made fun of for doing it because like people would be like, oh, like these people you're taking photos, like nobody knows who they are. Because like the kids at my school, like all they know is like Post Malone and like Soy Lee and like stuff. So they're like, oh, like you're just wasting your time. And I was like, all right, like, but one day I'm gonna be able to like shoot these guys or like these rappers and stuff that are bigger that you guys know. And they didn't believe me, but you know, eventually it happened. I didn't know how it even got to this point. I kind of just, I couldn't tell you, but it just kind of all happened. And now this is like what I do. Yeah. And you know, that, like you said, I kind of was like, I don't know how the hell I'm going to get to this point or shoot this person or get in here, but I'm going to somehow. And that's kind of how my mindset was for a lot of things. Even getting into a venue, I would show up that night, no pass, like
no ticket,
wouldn't know anybody, no ticket, nothing, no clearance at all. And I'd say, I was like I told him, we were like outside of like some show. I don't know what it was at like the House of Blues or something. But we were like, we're gonna get in this in a back door or through somebody or somebody on the tour somehow. I don't know how, but we will, and we ended up getting in. And I don't know how it happened, but that's how I.
But it's a mindset.
Yeah, it is a mindset thing.
The mindset that I'm going to get in there. Like, there's no stopping me is what got you in there. Had you would have said, "Oh man, I don't know if we can do this. I don't know if I should
just go home."
Yeah,
like,
we should.
Yeah, like
you wouldn't have took that risk. If you wouldn't have took that risk, then you wouldn't have. I think that's what it is. I think you took all these right risks. You let yourself kind of be surrounded by people, especially local people, knowing where you were at, and then you kept moving forward and moving up because you understood the process. After a while, you understood how to network. You understood how to. These people can put me in contact with the right people.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, so for example, like a goal of mine this year was to shoot Little Skies, or even just like a portrait of Little Skies and stuff like that. I had no connection to him somehow. And I feel like goals, you set goals, and if you want to manifest something and you really care about, and like you really believe that it's going to happen, it will come eventually. And I'm not saying, oh, you can sit on your ass and say, oh, one day I'm going to be rich. You have to get out and do things that will get you to that point. Like you have to go out, get jobs, like start a business or something, like apply yourself. But I'm saying if you have a goal and you're willing to work towards it, no matter how like unachievable it is, I feel like it isn't unrealistic. And so for example, like this year, I wanted to shoot Little Skies at the beginning of the year. I told my friends, or maybe a few years ago, I was like, I will shoot Little Skies one day. I know it sounds cringy. Like it sounds cringy, but I was just cool. Like I wanted to meet Little Skies. That's dope, right?
Yeah.
Because all my friends like him. I like his music, stuff like that.
Yeah, very popular.
And I didn't know how the hell that was gonna happen. I didn't know anybody that he knew. Like I didn't know any connection to him, but I was like, it's going to happen. And like December of 2019 comes along. He's with MGK at the Wolstein, and I'm already in that show. So he's performing with MGK because he's on the El Diablo or Hotel Diablo album, like one of the songs or whatever. So he's just kind of like a supporting artist there. And I'm already in there with Pooh Gutta and them and YFL Kelvin and all that. And I knew he was going to be there. So I was like, shit, like this is like the moment when I will kind of like get to meet him, like shoot some photos of him and stuff like that. And so then that was cool because it was like back a year or two ago when I was like, I'm going to make it happen. It's actually happening now. That's also another motivation thing, though. It's like, that's also why I keep doing this, because from the point of where I was a year or two ago, and if I could have looked into the future and seen, like, where I am now, like, I would have thought it would have been impossible, but, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you have to say to that, like, the young kid first picking up the camera and wanting to be like you and shoot these people and wanting to be big? What would you tell them?
Like a young kid that wants to do what I do, or just... If they have any idea of anything that they want to do.
Yeah, they're just like, you know what, I want to take photos. I'm going to grab a camera or something. Or have my phone.
Well, I would tell them the things everybody tells them, but people don't believe is, like, don't care what anybody else thinks because they don't matter. Especially in high school, I know that. Like, kids in high school will make fun of you and things for anything that you do. But it's your own choice, your own life, and if you want to make something happen, then make it happen, because you have the ability to do anything, even at a young age. I mean, you might think you're like 14, 15 years old, no, there's no way I can do this, but it's possible. I didn't think it was I didn't think it'd be possible to do this in high school, but I've begun to. I'm not where I want to be at all. I'm not even close. I'm starting, but
you're just starting your journey.
I am proud of what I've been able to accomplish at such a young age, and I feel like what I would tell somebody is, like, don't care what anybody tells you, go against the rules to a certain extent, figure out and work towards your goals. You can't be lazy though, like, work towards what you want. Don't take shortcuts. But if you really believe in something and have an idea and you really, really, truly believe in it and want it to happen, then you can make almost anything happen. And it doesn't matter your age, your position.
Yeah, you can even be 50 and want to do it.
Yeah, you could be 50, 60 years old and still, like, that'd be sick if you were 50, 60 and wanted to shoot rap photos or whatever.
But then they would stand out too, because they would be some old ass.
Out, and people would be like, "What the fuck? Like, who's this old ass dude taking photos?"
Like, damn, he takes some rap.
But you know what I mean? Like, and yeah. So I would just tell them, just do it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you got
Find a way.
You got one shot.
Yeah.
You got 60, 70, 80 years on this earth. And you don't want to wait. I'm afraid to not do what I want to do now and then be 80 years old and be like, oh, damn, I should have done it. Because right now it's I can or I will be able to do this. But when I'm like 85, it's like I missed my shot. So I would tell them if they have a goal, make it happen. Make it happen. Make it happen at a young age. Make it happen now, even if you can. Don't wait, don't put it off, and don't kind of just, if you have like a goal that you don't think is reachable, don't kind of say like, I wish, because if you just keep saying that for the rest of your life, you'll be 80, 95 years old and then say, I wish I would have done this.
I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
You know, I think people can be, I think a lot of it has to do with fear, you know?
Yeah, fear of like failing or rejection, things like that, which I still have that.
Yeah, everyone still has that.
Like because I'm going off to college next year.
Okay, where are you going?
No idea. I've looked at some colleges, Syracuse, Loyola.
Okay.
You know, like city schools, like the University of Toronto.
Where you can go and actually still shoot.
Yeah, like go to, you know, a big city is like one of the major factors for me, but I have a fear of, do I want to go into like a normal profession to be safe financially? Like, right? Like maybe go into like, maybe go into like stockbroking because like I know I'll be able to afford and have like a nice life and like not have to worry. Or do I go into like marketing, entrepreneurship, do this photography thing, try to tour with people and risk it? You know what I mean? Like, I'd love to do that, but it's a fear of like, I might fail, I might be homeless, or like I might not have enough money to like get by.
Yeah. I mean, if you see, marketing is kind of like a big degree though. Like,
yeah, like I could get a job, you know what I mean? Like marketing degree, you could apply that to a lot of things. I don't know if I tell people to chase after their dreams no matter what, but at the same time,
it's scary.
I'm still scared to do that myself. I'm telling people to do that, and I'm still scared. People tell me it too, but I'm like, it's not that easy. Like, like you don't.
I completely agree, because when I went to school to get marketing. I went to marketing because I'm like, oh, I'll just stay safe, go business route, right? And then halfway through, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I didn't fit into like the sales stuff I was doing and stuff like that.
Did you like just do it, but you didn't really care about, like, you were like,
I was like, I'm not bored. I had
an
internship my freshman year at an insurance agency.
Boring. Like,
and it was like terrible. I was like, damn, these people are kind of scumbags and salesmen, and I'm not really into that. And then I said, fuck it, I'm gonna switch my major to film production, which is fucking crazy to most people.
What did your like parents
So my parents are super. They're kind of how you said, where it's like they trust me and they know that whatever I do, I'll be able to live a good, successful life.
Yeah, like eventually just figure out your way around.
Yeah, like I'm like responsible enough to be able to figure it out no matter what. But it's still a huge risk. Like, how many people with an art degree have successful jobs and stuff?
Oh, like like with an art degree can make like
because it's the arts.
a year, like, and live in, like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small percentage, but I know that, like, okay, I have this idea, I have this dream. Once I decided, hey, fuck it, I'm gonna go film production, I went full force. I started shooting every day.
Like, because
it's like putting yourself. If you always have that, if you say, oh, I'm gonna have this as just like a safety net, you know, that ends up taking over your life, and then it becomes the main thing, you know,
because you're too afraid to do the thing, like your hobby or your dream.
Because then you get that job.
Well, because I feel like even my parents, they've made a good. They make a good amount of money. They're comfortable economically, like nice house. They can, you know what I mean? But I feel like now that they're approaching 50, 60 years old, they're realizing and wishing, you know, that they could have done some of the stuff that, like,
that they really wanted.
They wanted to do when they were like my age. I know my dad. My dad works in an office, and he he's okay with it because it provides for the family. He doesn't hate it, but he kind of sometimes he's like, oh, I wish I could have done this or wish I could have done this, and that's what I'm afraid of. Like I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
I want to say, oh, like I'm proud that I decided to take the risk, because a lot of people like that I meet, they're kind of like, you got to go big or go home with like the photography thing. Like you're either like head on, like that's the only thing you're doing, or it's not, and you choose to do something else. Like my parents want me to do the photography thing on like the side and like go for like a major in like business, like so then I'm not, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
I understand what they mean. Like they want me to be safe and successful and not have to worry and like not take risks. But I'm more like, if I do this business thing, take business classes, like major in that and do the photography on the side, the business thing is gonna
take over.
And then the photography thing is just gonna drop, and I'm eventually just never gonna do that again and be like 50 and regret it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm afraid of. But
I think there's ways to make and do what you love all the time and be safe. Like you're financially, you're like, oh fuck, like this freelance stuff isn't working out for me.
Yeah, like I'm not scraping by. Like
you can still, there are still jobs out there where you get hired as a photographer.
Yeah, like I mean, head of like creative director, like things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, all marketing teams. Like I work for Channel 3. I mean, my dream was to do like movies, and we're still making movies. I'm still doing that, but that takes a long time to get off the ground. But for instance, they have, I'm a videographer there. And then they also have photographers. They also have a marketing department that does all the creative stuff. There's like different ways that sometimes you think, oh, I can only take pictures at weddings, but maybe you don't like weddings. There's so many options to do, just like definitely take your first, this is my recommendation, just take your first 2 years and kind of explore different things, like within like the photography,
like the field creative, that I want to be in.
Yeah, and then like test stuff out, and then always have that minor maybe in business. My minor was in marketing. That helped because I knew how to market my business, but also it's a backup. But it's not my main focus. I knew that like I probably won't use it, but if I learn things from it, then it's a plus.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Just it's tough, man.
Yeah.
They say you have all this time to decide what you want to do, but like don't.
That's what I would always put that in the back of my head. Like they were like, oh, like don't worry, you have all this time to decide what you want to be. Like what are you gonna be when you grow up? Like freshman year of high school, and now fast forward, I'm a senior. I'm going to my senior year, and where did the time go? As I've gotten older, time passes by faster. Things become less important. Like you know what I mean? Like when I was like 5 years old, I felt like I would never grow up. Like I have endless amounts of time, and now it's like I feel like I just got into high school and now I'm at the end of it. Like I'm already going off to college next year, and it's like insane. Like I'm like really having to decide where I'm going to go to college, like what I'm going to major in or study. And I thought I had all this. I was like, oh, I'll put it off. Like I'm never going to be a senior. Like that feels like it, like when you're like in 8th grade and people are like, oh, like what are you going to be when you grow up? Senior year seems like it's thousands of years away. Light year away. And it's not, and now I'm really here. So
yeah,
I'm scared, but we'll see.
Yeah, and then the next thing be like ask you to decide. That's the thing with college to me is like they ask you to decide and pick something that you want to do for the rest of your life so quickly. I feel like they say, oh, you can change your major, which you can. I've changed my major, but it's also tougher to change your major when you're like halfway in, and you're like, damn, I might have to do next year. But I guess it's okay. It's always okay to like change and switch up. Just do what you love, man. Just do what you love, and you seem like a smart kid and a go-getter, so I think you'll be great no matter where you're at.
Appreciate that, yeah.
Yeah. So who's your favorite picture you shot? Like, what was your favorite picture?
Favorite photo.
Or who you shot of?
Favorite person?
Yeah,
I don't have a favorite person, but one of my favorite photos that is a lot of people also think, like, one of my favorite photos that a lot of other people that follow me, it's their favorite too, is the photo Polo G.
I like that one.
I don't know if you can like pop it up somewhere, but I'll show you. But it's just a photo of Polo G backstage at the Odeon
That's the one with just him. I think I did see that with just him.
And a lot of people love that. Like, I don't know, they really love that shot. I love it. I got it printed out. A lot of people want prints made of that and stuff, but that's one of my favorite shots recently. I mean, I'm sure I have thousands of photos that I love, but
would you ever be down to do like what is it called when all your pictures are blown up and they're all on the walls? What is it called?
Oh, like a gallery?
Gallery, that's what
like a gallery. Oh, I'd love to do that. I want to do photo books. I want to do prints. I want to...
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I want to make my own book, whether it be an ebook or physical copies that people can buy. I want to have my own gallery.
You could definitely make an ebook. Like, you could do that, like, now. Like,
yeah, like, I mean, there's websites that I've already looked into. You can print... I could
Dude,
print
the
my
prints
own
are just would sell well, yeah.
Yeah, because just people that are fans of, like, the rappers and stuff want to hang them up and stuff in their rooms and stuff, but
and gallery... they're unique, though. That's why I like... Because it's, like... All the ones that they sell are already, like, all over the place on posters, but these ones are unique, and someone from Cleveland shot it, so it's like in the Cleveland hometown.
Oh yeah, like when people like DM me, they're like, "Yo, where are you based?" And I say Cleveland, they're like, "How the hell are you from Cleveland?"
How are you getting all these photos? They think
I'm from like Atlanta or LA.
Yeah.
But I'm from Cleveland, and
hell yeah, you could do any city really.
Yeah.
If you hustle and get yourself in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Cleveland restriction, like, to this kind of area was just because I was so young and still in high school. Yeah. Once I'm 18 or, like, out in college, dude, I'm going to travel everywhere. Like, Atlanta, LA, New York, Chicago. It's going to be insane. And then I can finally go on tour. You know what I mean? Like, that's also a goal that I want to make happen.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, on tour.
That's going to be
insane.
awesome.
I love that. And, yeah, a gallery is another goal that I know I can eventually probably improve.
Oh, yeah, dude. You could probably get in the gallery soon, man. Get your own little...
Yeah, like a fucking big-ass wall. Just
be dope. Awesome. Dude, I just love, like, seeing pictures blown up, like, huge
yeah, there's so much. But on Instagram, on your little itty-bitty screens, they look like...
Yeah,
it's not their...
Just seeing it physically printed out in, like, a huge scale is
I love it. Yeah, I love it. It's awesome.
Would you ever want to get into, like, expand from photography and, like, get into a little bit of video stuff? Have you thought about that?
I've considered... I mean, I do, like... I can shoot little vlogs and recaps and things for people, but the actual, like, music videos and things I've considered. Because a lot of people assume I do it. Or, like, a lot of people also reach out and say, yo, do you shoot videos? And I have to say no. But I've considered it. Yeah, I would like to learn how to edit videos and things. I think it's more also just like at this point I'm a little scared to get into it just because it's a new territory for me.
Yeah. You're still mastering the...
Yeah, like I think I've become comfortable with like the photography thing, and I kind of am too scared to like change, which is bad. But
you always try new things.
Yeah, I'm definitely considering getting into video soon. It'll open up a lot of more opportunities for me, and also just like if I start like not doing new things, I'm gonna get bored.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need people to teach me. I gotta maybe learn on my own, but video would definitely be something that I would consider doing. It's in the same field.
Yeah, in the same field. I mean, it's kind of the same idea as like, you know, composition.
Yeah, I just don't know anything about the video thing really. Yeah. I'm sure it's easy for me to pick up if I'm a photographer, but I'm a little scared to like nervous to get into it.
Yeah, I mean, like you started on your photography stuff, you want to try it out, do some local people for free, and then that's another thing. People always want to profit right out the block, but then like they don't understand that it takes a while to.
Yeah, you got to get your connections first and like really get a reputation.
Yeah, you can't just hit up Freshie and be like, hey, I want to take photos to be $200.
Yeah,
like,
that's not.
No one's ever gonna book you if people. It's honestly about networking because like whoever connections you have, that'll just like make it better than if you're really good and have no connections. You know, someone that's really good has no connections and they're not getting booked.
Yeah, they're not getting booked.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, like, this past summer was really... I've been getting booked, like, this year a lot more than past years, obviously, just because I'm now, like, doing this on a regular basis, meeting more people. This summer, though, is really, like, it exponentially grew to the amount of bookings that I've got. Like, I did a shoot this week a few days ago, turned the photos around last night. I've done 2 shoots in a day like a few weeks ago. I mean I got on average probably 2 or 3 shoots a week this summer every week, so I've been pretty busy, and I credit that exactly to, growing my portfolio and originally doing the shoots for free with these people, like offering to grow my portfolio, saying, oh, let's go shoot for free, just I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
So that's like the first step, and now I'm finally seeing like the product of that, where I get to profit like financially.
Yeah.
And that was never my goal either. Like, I started doing this photography thing because I loved doing it. I didn't think, oh, like this is a way I can make money, and it just kind of is like that's another product that came from this. That's great. It's a positive factor that kind of evolved from this hobby that I loved. But that was never my goal. But yeah, I mean, I would agree. Like free shoots, marketing yourself, getting out there at the start is the most important thing.
That's a key.
Yep.
Yeah, and just keep pushing forward. And if money is the main objective, don't get in it.
That's exactly. Like if you're only in it for the money, then it's not you. People are gonna know too.
Yeah.
With your like attitude and the way you carry yourself. Like if you're only doing this for money, then people aren't gonna really like. They're gonna be able to tell and they're gonna see right through you and know that that's your goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think that's the truth, because people will see right through your bullshit. Like that's just, that's just facts.
Yeah, I mean, if you really love something, you're gonna be able to find a way to like make money off of it or make a living.
Yeah.
Somehow, and it's not gonna be easy probably, but no matter what you like, if you sell comic books, somehow, if you really believe in it and you really are passionate about it, there's some way you'll be able to make a living or something off of it. I'm sure. Yeah. In anything you do, anything in life, photos, whatever, like videos, like as long as you have a goal of doing it because you love it, things will come from it. Opportunities, financial gain will come from that. But if you're doing it straight off the bat just for financial gain, then you're gonna fail. That's end of story right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That is the perfect fucking quote to kind of end the podcast on. I think that was really amazing. I couldn't agree with you more. Everything you said was great, and we appreciate you having you on the podcast.
I appreciate you having me.
Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great. It's great to see a 17-year-old have so much insight into this stuff. I think that's really amazing that you have like a great career ahead of you.
I appreciate that. I hope. Yeah.
I mean, you have the right values. You have the right idea
definitely.
of what you want to do.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see where I'm at in a few years.
Yeah.
When I go up to college, but.
Oh, I think you're gonna grow from there. But where can the audience find you at?
You can find me on Instagram, Jacob.Maher, period in the middle, JACOB.MAHER. My website's in my bio on Instagram. You can hit Lottie Dottie. Hit them, you know what I mean? Shout out to them for having me.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Instagram's where you can find me. You can book me. You can see all my work, portfolio, everything. I appreciate you guys having me. Really great to meet you guys. But
yeah, it was great meeting you too. Networking, further networking.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. So thank you guys for listening and watching. It's your boy Chef T.
I'm Will the Spacekid.
And it's Jacob. We're out.
Yes, sir. We're out. Keep it real, y'all. Thank you all for listening and joining us on another episode of the Stirfry. All the music was created by Steve Ozell. Check him out on all streaming services at Stevo Music, spelled ST3V30 Music. Also, if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. We'd greatly appreciate it. And see you next Tuesday when we talk with my good friend Chris James. He's a singer from Detroit, Michigan, and we talk about his journey as a singer and why stage performance is so important. It was great, so you won't want to miss it. See you next week, y'all.